The news never stops in Florida, does it? We have an update in the case Florida versus the CDC. We knew that July the 18th would be an important day because of the ruling by Judge Mary Day. But minutes before midnight on July the 18th, the 11th Circuit set of judges kicks in a decision and halts everything. We're going to talk about it. Plus, it's a great day for the great cruise restart as Royal Caribbean is set to sell yet another ship with paying passengers today. Let's talk about everything right now on Island Time. Welcome back to all you Islanders. We are so glad that you are here, right here on Island Time. Let's all of us, our whole community, take just a few minutes to take a break from work, from watching kids, from our responsibilities, and spend some time together catching up on cruise news and having some community. We are so glad that you are here, and we are so ready to cruise. 5 days. It's hard to even imagine. It's hard to believe. But in 5 days, we will board the Carnival Vista. We are so excited to meet all of you. In 2 and 3 days, we have all sorts of events set up. We are so looking forward to it, and we are looking forward to a great week of cruising. I mean, Amanda literally just about is sitting by the door to the garage and ready to go. Suitcases are there. She is ready to head to the airport, and we will in just a couple of days. We have all sorts of content we are going to record. We have a list of things to look at. We have a list of questions from you who are cruising on the Vista or the Vista class of ships, and you want to see. We're going to get all of it done. I promise. We have a week to do so. So if there's something you want to see or something for us to look at, just let us know. It's a great time right now. If you're not an Islander yet, why not? Come join the community. Click subscribe, click the bell. We're going to have all sorts of content, including streaming, embarkation as much as we can, the sail away party, and all sorts of different things. So subscribe, ring the bell. We would love to have you here. Let's get to the cruise news because it is impactful for a lot of people. Florida and the CDC. This is like round 9, round 10. I mean, this is a heavyweight bout. And there was a punch thrown. You probably remember Federal Judge Mary Day. He offered some 2 or 3 weeks ago a decision in his case, and he had ruled and sided on the side of Florida and said that the CDC did not have the power and the authority to do what they were doing. And he said that starting on July the 18th, the conditional sale order, the CSO, would go from a set of requirements to recommendations. The CDC disagreed. You probably remember that. And they asked Judge Mary Day to order a stay and for the CSO to stay in place. Judge Mary Day early last week, said, no, I'm not going to issue a stay. Starting July the 18th, you're going to see the conditional sale order become recommendations. So here we are. We're almost, of course, to the 18th over the weekend. We had not heard anything on Friday, so people kind of thought, okay, maybe this is going to take place. But moments before midnight on the 18th, the 11th Circuit, the Court of Appeals, where the case is now going to reside, they issued a statement and they issued a stay. That is correct. So now there is a stay in the case. The conditional sale order it's intact. It is in place. They are requirements as they once were. And this is done by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Okay, so here's what it means. First off, there's a set of 3 judges on the circuit courts. So the statement from these 3 judges was fairly short. It was a 1-pager. We expect more details this week, but we do know this, okay? We do know that as the CDC celebrates a win, and it is a small win, okay, in this multi-round fight, it's not as big of a win as you may think that it is. A lot of people, I've seen stories today, the CDC wins. It's not over. But let's look at this win, okay? The set of 3 judges were split. This was a split decision, 2-1. 2 of the 3 judges said, we're going to issue the stay. There was one judge in particular who said, I vote to not issue the stay. So they voted for the CSO to become recommendations, not a requirement. That's pretty big. Okay, so the CDC wins 2-1, barely, and that's just to get the stay. That's not winning the case. That's just to get the stay. So I think that's a big piece of information that can easily be overlooked. I think it is very big. Now, where do we go from here? We can go a lot of different places, okay? This case could never be picked up. Remember, the U.S. Court of Appeals, they choose what cases they pick up, and they decide. It could be by briefs, it could be by oral arguments, but they don't have to pick the case up. Just as the Supreme Court works the exact same way. They could pick the case up, they could get the briefings from both sides and make a decision. Or they could pick the case up, they can ask for oral arguments from both sides, and it can be heard that way. But there will be 3 judges, and right now it was already 2-1 just for the stay. So could that 2-1 in favor of the CDC flip once they hear the case, or once they decide on the case based on briefs? Could it flip to 2-1 in favor of Florida? Of course. Could it go 3-0 either way? I don't know if it could go either way. I don't know if it could go 3-0 in the favor of the CDC, because you had one judge, like I said, who didn't even want the stay to take place. So we're going to follow it, but for now, the CSO is intact. It is in Florida. It is in everywhere that cruising takes place. And some of you've asked, why is this important? Well, it's important because of Florida state law. They have a law that bans companies from asking for vaccine passport information. You can't ask someone, are you vaccinated, and then decide whether or not to do business with that person. I will say this, Carnival is cruising out of Florida, so is Celebrity, so is Royal Caribbean. They've kind of found ways to get around this law because the fine could be $5,000 per passenger. But honestly, the state they haven't done anything to cruise lines. A lot of people said, oh, it's going to be $5,000 a passenger for that passport or that vaccine card. It hasn't taken place. The law's in effect, but it hasn't been held to cruise lines and applied to cruise lines like maybe some thought that it would be. So really, we're going to follow it. We're going to see what comes of it. But that is the latest in the Florida case, in the small win for the CDC for now. We'll see if the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals picks up the case and if they make a ruling. And we'll share more information as well later this week if they provide more information on their stay order. Next, Royal Caribbean, and a big day for the cruise restart as Royal Caribbean cruises today out of Alaska. That's right. We thought the Alaskan season may be canceled. We thought it would not happen. There's been great news from Canada recently. Of course, we've got a workaround with Canada right now because of federal law, but Canada's going to open back up. We see in November. I just saw before I recorded this that the border, U.S.-Canadian border, is going to be opened up for vaccinated passengers very soon at the end of the summer. So it's great news for just the global recovery, but this is a big step because now Royal Caribbean is sailing out of Alaska, and this is the Serenade of the Seas. The Serenade of the Seas is sailing today with paying passengers. Now, you may remember the Serenade of the Seas did a test cruise, did a 4-night test cruise. It was on July the 7th with 300 fully vaccinated people, but you have to remember how these Alaska sailings are taking place because of state laws. These are vaccinated cruises for Royal Caribbean. Carnival would kick up this month as well. These are vaccinated cruises. For Alaska sailings with Royal Caribbean that are departing out of Seattle before August 1st, which is soon, it's very soon, it's only a little bit of time. So between now and August 1st, all Royal Caribbean guests age 16 and older must be fully vaccinated. That is the 1-shot Johnson & Johnson or the 2-shot with the other companies in 2 weeks. That's your full vaccination. After August the 1st, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks, that requirement drops to that age of 12 years old. So anyone cruising over 12 must be fully vaccinated. If you have children traveling that are below the age of 12, they will be tested before they board. Okay, so it's important to know that, absolutely. But it is another great step in the right direction for this cruise restart, and we will see Carnival do the same thing later this month. And we're going to see all sorts of ships enter service at the end of the month and into next month. There's so much going on, and we're staying on top of it. And we are we find ourselves kind of tied between two different places right now because we have our eyes fixated on the news and how it impacts travel. But at the same time, while I've done this for a couple of months now, just reporting news, we also have our eyes fixed on cruising and what the cruise is actually going to look like and enjoying the cruise, because that's why we are all here, is to, when it's our turn, to go on that ship with family and friends and make memories. And so we have our eyes fixed on both of them, and we will keep you in tune. We're so grateful that you're here as an Islander. We love our community. We love you, and we will keep you updated all week. We'll see you next time right here on Island Time.